You just picked up your bearded dragon the way you always do, reached in from above, scooped them up, held them while they sat there looking calm, and you thought everything was fine. It was not fine. What you just did triggered one of the most primitive stress responses in your beardie's nervous system. And the calm you saw was not contentment. It was something behavioral scientists call tonic immobility, a documented fear response in reptiles that looks, from the outside, exactly like relaxation. 7 things bearded dragon owners do out of love that their beardie actually hates. What you are about to learn will permanently change how you interact with your beardie. 1. Picking them up from above. This is the first thing almost every new bearded dragon owner does, and it sets the tone for the entire relationship. In the wild, the only things that approach a bearded dragon from above are predators, hawks, eagles, large birds of any kind. The threat assessment system in your beardie's brain was calibrated over millions of years to treat a large object descending from above as an immediate mortal threat. Your hand coming down into the enclosure from above is, to your beardie's nervous system, indistinguishable from a hawk. The size is different. The intention is completely different. None of that matters. The direction is the same, and direction is what the system was built to detect. Research on anti-predator responses in agamid lizards confirmed that overhead stimuli produce significantly faster and more intense flight responses than lateral stimuli of equivalent size. Always approach from the side. Slide your hand in at enclosure level, palm up, and let your beardie walk onto you. Every time you do this, you are providing evidence that your approach does not match the predator pattern. That evidence accumulates. But number 2 is something owners do with the best possible intentions, and it is stressing their beardie every single day. 2. Handling them for too long. You love your bearded dragon, so you hold them for an hour while you watch TV, carry them around the house, let them sit on your shoulder while you work. From your perspective, this is quality time. From your beardie's perspective, it is an extended excursion into a thermally unpredictable environment, with no access to their basking spot and no way to regulate their body temperature. Bearded dragons are ectotherms. Every physiological process, digestion, immune function, neural processing, depends on access to a specific thermal gradient. Research on thermoregulation in captive agamids found that bearded dragons removed from their thermal gradient for more than 30 to 40 minutes begin showing measurable changes in digestive efficiency and immune response. The signal most owners miss is the color change. A beardie whose beard darkens during handling is not showing excitement. Darkening of the beard is one of the primary stress displays in the species. If your beardie's beard goes dark while you are holding them, they have been telling you something for as long as it has been happening. Keep handling sessions to 15 to 20 minutes. Return them before the beard darkens. The relationship you build through short positive sessions will outlast anything built through hours of stressed proximity. Number 3 is the most counterintuitive thing on this list, because it involves something happening in their enclosure 24 hours a day. 3. The wrong lighting. Schedule. Your bearded dragon's internal clock is not set by how tired you are when you go to bed. It is set by light. Bearded dragons are native to arid Australia, where the photo period follows a consistent seasonal pattern. Their circadian rhythm, hormonal regulation, sleep architecture, and immune function are all organized around that pattern. When the enclosure lighting does not match it, every one of those systems begins to drift. Research on photoperiod disruption in captive reptiles found that bearded dragons kept under inconsistent light schedules showed measurably higher corticosterone levels, the reptile equivalent of cortisol. than animals on naturalistic light cycles. The most common mistake is leaving ambient room light on after enclosure lights have turned off. Your beardie is lying in darkness registering light through the glass, and their circadian system cannot resolve the conflict. 12 hours of light, 12 hours of complete darkness. Automated timers remove the human inconsistency entirely, one of the simplest and most impactful changes any bearded dragon owner can make. But number 4 is the one that surprised even experienced keepers when the research came out. 4. What you do when they glass surf. Your beardie is running back and forth along the front glass, head bobbing, scratching at the surface, unable to settle. Most owners interpret this as the beardie wanting to come out, so they open the enclosure and take them out, and the beardie calms down. What just happened is not what most owners think happened. Glass surfing is a documented stress behavior, a response to temperatures outside the optimal range, an enclosure that is too small, the reflection of the beardie's own image, which their visual system processes as a territorial intruder, or detection of something outside activating the threat response. Research on operant conditioning in reptiles confirmed that bearded dragons learn associations between their own behavior and environmental outcomes with measurable speed. When you open the enclosure every time glass surfing occurs, you are not relieving the stress. You are teaching the beardie that glass surfing produces removal from the enclosure. If the enclosure is the source of stress, removal provides relief and reinforces the behavior. If removal itself is stressful, you have created a loop with no resolution. The right response is to identify the trigger first, check temperatures, check enclosure size, cover the lower third of the front glass to eliminate the reflection, remove the source, not the beardie. Number 5 is something owners do every single day without realizing it is a problem. 5. Handling them when they are cold. It is morning. Your beardie has been in a dark enclosure all night. You open the enclosure and take them out because you want to spend time with them before work. A cold bearded dragon is one whose nervous system is running at reduced capacity. Research on thermal effects on cognitive performance in agamid lizards found that stress hormone response to handling was measurably more pronounced in cooled animals than in thermally optimal ones. Let your beardie bask for at least 30 to 45 minutes after lights come on before any handling. A warm beardie is better able to process the experience, better able to regulate its own stress response, and better able to build the associations between you and positive outcomes that trust is made of. Number 6 is the one owners feel worst about, because it happens in the name of socialization. 6. Letting strangers handle them too soon. Your friend wants to hold your beardie. Your kids' friends want to hold your beardie, so you hand them over. What your beardie experiences is transfer from a known individual whose scent, thermal signature, and movement pattern their nervous system has mapped, to an unknown individual whose profile is entirely unresolved. Every sensory system reactivates the threat assessment from zero. Research on individual recognition in reptiles has documented that bearded dragons distinguish between familiar and unfamiliar handlers through visual recognition, thermal signature, and movement pattern. The distinction is real, and the behavioral difference is measurable. Unfamiliar handlers produce significantly higher rates of defensive behavior even in animals that are otherwise calm with their primary keeper. The trust your beardie has built with you is specific to you. It cannot be transferred by handing them to someone else. It has to be built independently through the same slow accumulation of evidence. Introduce new people gradually. Have them offer food first, then a hand at enclosure level. The same sequence that built your beardie's trust in you will build it with anyone. The last one is the hardest to hear because it comes from the deepest place of caring. 7. Loving them in ways they do not understand. You talk to your beardie in a warm voice. You kiss the top of their head. You look directly into their eyes because you feel connected when you do. None of these register as affection to your bearded dragon. Bearded dragons do not have the mammalian neurochemical systems that make touch, vocal warmth, and eye contact feel good. Direct eye contact from a larger animal registers in their visual system as a dominance display. Unsolicited touch to the head activates the same threat response as an overhead approach. Your warm voice carries no more positive signal than ambient room noise. What bearded dragons do register as positive: warmth from your body during handling, the thermal consistency of a specific person, reliable access to food provided by a specific hand, the absence of threat signals across repeated interactions. These are the things that build positive association in your beardie's nervous system. Your beardie cannot receive love the way you want to give it, but they can receive it in the way their nervous system is built to process it. When you give it in that language, warmth, consistency, reliability, the absence of threat, they receive it completely. Go back through all 7. The hand that descended from above and read as a hawk. The hour of handling while their temperature dropped and digestion stalled. The lighting schedule drifting their circadian clock. The glass surfing you accidentally trained them to do. The cold morning handling when their stress response was running hottest. The strangers you handed them to before trust had been built. And the love you have been giving them in a language their nervous system was never built to receive. Every item on this list came from caring about them. That care was real. The translation was just off. Now you have the right language.